Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday game day edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock Banner's Beauty Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, and RestoredMotions.com. Game day, LSU at Arkansas, morning kick, 11 a.m. ESPN. As soon as college game day ends, Tigers and Hogs. Excited for it. I think LSU is going to be okay. Gave my pick yesterday, and I picked LSU 30-21. That's my pick. I would tell you I would probably feel differently. If two things were true, one being, if two things were true, one being if KJ Jefferson were healthy and playing, and two, if Arkansas wasn't just generally not a great football team. So we've seen, obviously upsets happen in college football, and you look at the line. This one's 3. It has climbed a smidge. I think some sharp money's come in on LSU, which is why you've seen the line bump up to 3.5 and 4 in some places. And I think a big part of that has to do with KJ Jefferson's injured shoulder, his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder. So that's certainly part of it. And I think the other thing is you just got to realize when a team is hang on one second. I'm sorry. Here's the backpack. Sorry. You want to come say hi to Dad's show? Yeah. Okay, come say hi. Come on, come say hi.
Not with Dad's, no.
Come say hi.
Yeah.
Okay. Look who we got.
True?
Who we got? Oh, who is it?
Drew.
It is Drew. Good job. Do you know what today is? Saturday. And who plays football on Saturday? Who plays football on Saturday?
LSU Tigers.
LSU Tigers. Hey, do you know who we're playing? Today we're playing the Arkansas
Razorback.
Yep, the Arkansas Razorbacks.
And then?
Well, and then after LSU plays Arkansas Razorbacks, we'll hang out at the house and watch football and build a fire.
And then?
And tomorrow is?
Sunday.
Sunday. Good job. Hey, since it's Saturday, it's game day, do you want to sing our song? You want to sing our Hey Fightin' Tigers?
No.
No. I want to sing it. 1, 2, 3. Hey. What are you doing? Are you making a fish face? 1, 2, 3. Hey. You do it. Hey.
Fight. I go fight hard. fun all the way. Have fun, have fun. Tigers wide away. Win the game today. You got it. You got to know how you're doing fun. And a hard to ball when the water smash through the splash. Smash through the wall. I got a cut down. One up the score. Meet my tiger. Or give it over there, but do not get the go. You get to read for LSU. Tigers. Tigers.
Yay! Good job. It's our Saturday morning tradition of Drew mumbling his way through hay fighting tigers. Okay, I was saying something earlier. I don't remember. Let's just get to some good mornings here. Kelly Gross, Ryan Amanda Guidry, Eric Johnson, Trey Potan, Nicole Havard, good morning. How do you think we handle the snow? Not snowing. It snowed last night. It's supposed to be sunny and clear. So they're scraping the field, and the temp should be into the 30s. And I believe I saw 38 around kickoff there in Arkansas. So snow, should not have to worry about snow. My guess is they'll get the field cleared, and all that stuff will dry pretty quickly. We'll mill. Okay. Hang on one second. Sorry, y'all. My apologies. Good job. Sorry. I promise. Now maybe we can start to get the show rolling. Apologies on the disjointed start. Josh Higginbotham, good morning. Jeremiah Hardell, how cold is it going to be at the game? Let's look it up. But my understanding is, I think what I saw was 38 degrees. Let's see. Fayetteville, Arkansas, currently it's sunny and 29. This morning, sunny and 34, sunny and 40 for the afternoon. So, you should be getting up to around 40 degrees. So you're not talking about freezing temperatures, 9-mile-an-hour winds, which is not significant. So it's going to be crisp. Sunny and crisp is a good way to put it. I think they'll be fine with the weather. Michael Costello, time to cook the bacon bits. Bubba Tatum, good morning. Happy belated birthday trivia. All right, trivia. I didn't know it was your birthday. Happy birthday. Morning, Matt. Starting the morning with a little Bailey's in my coffee. I just have coffee. By the way, in my Darren James mug. If you need a realtor, call Darren James. Get your home sold. Trivia, when was your birthday, man? Greg T, thanks for throwing out those 2 bets at the end of AFR yesterday. Parlayed them, padded the bankroll. Yeah, if you missed it, 2 bets that they gave out on Ott Show that hit the over in Fresno and UNLV, which hit, and the over in a college basketball game, which was UCLA Long Beach State, both hit last night. I'm telling y'all, if you sports bet, and I've learned this over the years, I've done it myself, but what I've learned is when there are guys and men and women who do that professionally, and they do all their research and simulations and everything, and that's how they make their money. If they're giving out free plays or best bets or things like that, look for agreement. And like on Jimmy's show, when they'll do the cappers recap, and he'll have like 6 different handicappers all give their best bets of the day, and like 4 of them throw out the same game, that's like ding, 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 that's light bulb going off. Like, a bunch of them had Purdue, a bunch of them had Navy, a bunch of them had Louisville. So, like, I'm playing all of those, yes. Jeremiah Hartle, do you think we lean on the running game even more today? No, Jeremiah. Maybe to seal the game late, but Arkansas's pass defense is atrocious. I mean, this is a very easy matchup when you look at it. See, a week ago, you had a question like, okay, LSU's corners aren't necessarily elite. Well, Bama's receivers haven't been elite this year. So who wins that matchup? That was the question. Well, LSU's corners won the day by a wide margin. In this instance, LSU's receivers are really good, and Arkansas's secondary is not. Arkansas doesn't have dynamic playmaking receivers, so they're not necessarily built to take advantage of the LSU secondary. So anyway, I like the matchup. I mean, I get everything that's creating any anxiety for LSU fans today is all of the intangible things. The letdown, the weather, which I guess is tangible, but you know what I mean. It's not about the game itself. David LeBeau, morning, Matt. What's your keys to an LSU victory? Just don't go in there and lose the turnover margin, commit a bunch of penalties, and let them stay in the game. They will eliminate themselves from the game. Like they lost 23-21 to Texas A&M in Arlington. They were going in for a touchdown before the end of the first half, fumbled, allowed a 99-yard scoop and score. Got A&M right back in the game, and A&M won it. I'm going to tell you all the other thing. KJ Jefferson's shoulder is a massive story in this ballgame. It's massive. Everything they want to do offensively is centered around KJ Jefferson and his ability to run the football. If KJ Jefferson, like when they were losing last week to Liberty, they didn't start running KJ until the fourth quarter, like when they had to. And they moved the football. I don't know what they can do for 4 quarters against LSU with him running the ball. And if he's limited, that really limits what they do offensively. Kyle Miller, good morning, Matt. I hope to see 40 and 23 making some big plays today. Yeah, I think LSU's linebackers will be a big key in this game. So you think Jude Ward will have a big game? Man, you're leaving out the 2 Arkansas kids. Brooks and Fouché, you better believe we're going to be sky high for this one. Guy Brooks, morning. Matt, go Tigers. Looking for a consistent game from the Tigers on both sides of the ball. Michael Castello, good morning. Justin Claymont, good morning. Jonathan Martin, morning Scone. Been up smoking a pork butt since 3:30. Whew. No thanks. I mean, I would love to enjoy eating the pork butt. I would not like to be up at 3:30 smoking the pork butt. Guy Brooks, what's going on? Weston Weaver, morning Matt from the deer stand. Janet A, good morning. Rapping Batches. Trey Willoughby, good morning. Stu 3. Justin Claymore, he killed it this morning, LSU by a million, meaning Drew killed Hate Fighting Tigers. Let's see, Troy Abear, morning. What do you think about the article that Tripp put out about Jameis? So, candidly, I will not lie to you, I'm not a subscriber to New Orleans Football, so I have not read the article. My assumption, though, is Jameis said all the things that I've been saying for a long time, which is probably shouldn't have played with a broken back against Tampa. And the severity of his injury hasn't been detailed, and he still thinks he can be really good, which I agree with, and I hope he gets a shot at some point because I think they're going to lose tomorrow to Pittsburgh. And, at that point, I think you go back to Jameis if he's healthy enough. Down in NOLA, what's going on? Kevin Boudreaux, 34-17. I picked it 30-21. LSU, 30-21. I think a late score gives LSU probably a close game, and probably a game where Arkansas leads at some point. LSU has trailed to every Power 5 opponent they've played. They have trailed every Power 5 opponent they've played this season. I don't know that today's any different. So, I think I think you probably have a game that's tight, but LSU does what they've done all year, which is just gain steam and momentum as the game goes along and wears teams down. So, let's see. Janet, Matt, your A&M drop almost made me wreck my car. So for around the SEC now, we no longer play the voice guy saying, the Texas A&M Aggies. We have a drop of one of the yell leaders going, Texas A&M, whoop! And so that's what we play now. Alan Black, good 19 degrees from Aurora, Colorado. Okay. Kyle, they had snow accumulation last night. Accumulation is a very mild way of putting it. But yes, because you had freezing temps last night, the snow didn't melt upon contact, and so there was some accumulation. But like, my assumption here is that when the game starts at 11, there will not be any white on the field. It was like they were scraping it, and it was just a spattering. Spurge. Good game day morning, Matt. Pork butt on the Big Green Egg since midnight. I respect all of you. I respect all of your commitment. Should be just right for 11 o'clock start. Bobby, Matt, what's your dumbest college rivalry trophies? Well, you're setting me up to say the boot, of course. I think the Magnolia Bowl trophy is stupid as well. I don't know. I get the college. Look, part of college and rivalries is the trophies, like the Oaken bucket and the brown jug and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. I don't hate it. Whatever. Oh, got it. Tribute. Happy birthday for the Marine Corps. Got it. Justin Claymore was watching the Barstool Invitational last night. It was played in Philly. It was awesome having the game called with a bias because of their betting interest. I loved it personally. Oh, that was cool. I just saw some clips on Twitter where they were doing like live in games with the coach. Like they had an earpiece in the coach's ear, like from Akron, and so like he's coaching the game and they're talking to him from the booth, which is pretty interesting. Taylor Castanier, Matt, which of LSU's assistant coaches do you think have the best chance of being hired away after the season? Have you heard anything about that? So that's always a threat, right? Maybe not after year one. Matt House is going to be the guy. I'll tell you, Matt House, Brad Davis, just off the top, are probably the coaches most likely to be in line for head coaching opportunities at some point, whether it's this year or time in the future, we'll see. Speaking of which, I don't know where the guy is, but there was someone on this chat. This is why it's interesting how you can spew whatever you want and never be called on it. Someone a few weeks ago was just absolutely teeing off on Brad Davis about how terrible he was and he'd never done anything and he should be fired. Completely losing context of the fact that he was hired like in June last year. So right before the season, that unit got better as the year went along. And then obviously you lost all 5 starters, had to piecemeal this thing together, 6 different combos through 8 games, and now they've become a really good unit, proving how good of a coach he is. But the person that wanted to fire Brad Davis is probably sitting there stewing and not saying anything, just shrinking in a corner, because that's what internet cowards do. Trey Potan, David Hawes, Guy Morgan, Dustin Balelu, Drew has and always will be the star of the show. That's true. You know what's interesting, Dustin? So we're coming up on 5 years of Morning Scone. Like, we have not missed a show in 5 years. So when we started this, Drew was 3. And Morning Scone started with me recording like a 10-minute episode and uploading it. And then ultimately I decided to do it live. But when I was recording it, I would close the doors to my office, and inevitably Drew would come and like bang on the door and fuss because he wanted to get in and see me. And so I'd get frustrated, have to stop and re-record, start over. Till finally got to the point where I was like, forget it. Like, just come on in. And it was the best thing that ever happened because, man, if y'all remember, if y'all are OGs when we were Facebook only, he'd put filter, like he'd hit the screen and he would hit filters, and unbeknownst to me, like I'd have filters on my face and, you know, like bat filters and, you know, earrings or whatever. It was hilarious. Good times. Our buddy Craig Schilling would make these Morning Scone like anniversary videos, and he'd compile clips. I'll go back and look up some of those anyway. Good times. Anyway, little nostalgia and a way of saying thank you to all of you for being here for Morning Scone for as long as you have. Skip, what's good, man? Scotty McCarty, Megan Hurst, Roderick Bassard, good morning. Daniel Sinets, Christopher Davis. Last time we played them in the cold, it didn't turn out well. I think we were favored in that game as well. Christopher, you're probably thinking about 2014. 2014 LSU played Arkansas in a freezing cold day up in northwest Arkansas. That was the Anthony Jennings team. It was Les's worst team by a mile. That was a week after LSU lost in overtime to Alabama. And if you remember how that game went, and I do remember it well, LSU missed a field goal on their opening possession. LSU took the ball, had a short field goal, missed it. And from there, it was deflating, and they never got off the mat. I had guys on that team tell me that. Like, the sideline was just dead. After that missed field goal, and Arkansas was sky high. Remember, I think that was Brett Bielema's first SEC win. They had a long SEC losing streak from the when Petrino got fired and John L. Smith was the interim, and they had an awful season. And Bielema was hired, so they had a long SEC losing streak, and that snapped the losing streak. And then they stormed across the field and took the boot. That was 2014, but a very different reality, man. That was Les Miles, and that was, when LSU struggled to get off the mat and play this series hard. So anyway. Charlie Gale, good morning. Todd Harris, good morning, Matt. Had to come to Philadelphia for a wedding. Gonna miss the second half of the game. Yeah. Fall weddings. Nah. Samuel Merrifield. If LSU makes Atlanta against the Bulldogs, how much of a chance do you give them? I don't love the matchup. I think Georgia's defense has proven to be pretty suffocating. When they turn it on and crank it up, they're pretty spectacular. Curious to see how they do today. Georgia really sort of laid down against Kent State and Missouri. As I've said, played with their food a little bit, were bored, and ended up in close games. Honestly, should have lost to Missouri. Missouri had a goal-to-go situation where if they punch in a touchdown, they win the game. Like, they're up 2 scores, and Georgia can't come back from that late. And instead, settled for a field goal, and Georgia ended up winning the game. So, my guess is in an SEC championship game scenario, Georgia would be locked in and would play really hard. Anyway. Chris Keller, Scone, when's the last time LSU played in the snow? Again, it's not going to be snowing today. It's important to note. Last time they played in the snow. I mean, 97 Independence Bowl against Notre Dame was in the snow. 98 they played in South Bend, and there were flurries in that game. I remember I was in Notre Dame Stadium for that game. You'd probably have to look at a game in Arkansas, late in the season. But it's not going to be snowing today, so it's not even worth talking about, unless it's just curious. Brandon Roban, the Arkansas players that got arrested were they starters. One of the safeties was, and it was kind of their best secondary player, so that's significant. Stephen Dufour, it's 30 degrees. It snowed last night in Fayetteville. I hope our boys are ready. Ryan Amanda Guidry, we need the jingle this morning. You know what? Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you.
Someone you know, Scone, Ontario. All you need is HUDCO. Call HUDCO Roofing. 364-1007.
HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Bubba Smith, good morning from Houston. Dad, good morning from Baltimore. Loaded with Notre Dame fans and cadets. That's right, Notre Dame and Navy today from Baltimore. Patrick Landry, Craig Digga, Mama Mulkey running wild. Lady Tigers put up a hundo again last night. They going crazy. Madman McMahon is ready to lay the smackdown on the SEC. LSU basketball does play Arkansas State today at 5 o'clock. Stephen Fry, morning Matt, not smoking pork butt at 3 a.m., but this bag of pork rinds is pretty good. Okay. Let's see, random question. Are you familiar with Dave Portnoy? I saw his net worth is millions. How did he get so successful and make Barstool so big? Yeah, so Dave Portnoy is the founder and CEO of Barstool Sports. His story is one that's an amazing compliment to this era of media, which is he didn't like any of the media that he saw, and so he started a website and started creating content, and it became more and more popular, and it became from regional, like up in the Boston area, to what Barstool has become. So, and they Barstool sold to Penn Gaming. So yeah, Dave Portnoy is worth tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. That deal was maybe a $300 million deal. Let's see. $387 million. So Penn acquired Barstool for $387 million. Now that $387 doesn't go into Portnoy's pocket, but he is, I mean, exceedingly wealthy, and my assumption is he also has stock in Penn, and yeah, Portnoy's net worth is estimated to be $100 million, so it's about right. He's incredibly successful with what he's done with Barstool, absolutely. Reed Rule, happy game day. About to make my first mimosa while the baby is sleeping in. We've not been a good enough program in the last 2 years to warrant looking past anyone. LSU 38-17. I mean, I don't think I'm expecting a 3-touchdown win, Reed. That's a little excessive. But I do think it's not quite as uncomfortable as a lot of people are thinking it might be. How cool would it be if Keyshawn drops 150 on McLaughlin? Yeah, I don't think McLaughlin is going to be covering Keyshawn today. I think there's a better chance McLaughlin's on the outside with Jure. But yes, I would love to see Keyshawn go off. It would be phenomenal. Fish Bucket, haven't listened to you this week. How's McLaughlin doing in Arkansas? Great. He's their best cornerback by a mile. I wish he had stayed. But then again, the trade-off, LSU getting the 2 players that they did, has been really, really helpful. Right at 32 degrees in northern Indiana. Whew. No thanks. Brady Smith, morning Matt. Headed to Tulane UCF today. Never thought I'd willingly go to a Tulane game. Wendell Norman, Bubba Tatum. While I respect waking up at 2 a.m., I smoked my ribs yesterday. We'll finish them today. I'm too ugly not to get my beauty sleep. Y'all are in a mood today, bro. Jerry Newsom, morning Matt. Can you tell me the betting odds guy you use? I couldn't find them last night. You said their name, go Tigers. Help me out, the betting odds guys. Are you talking about Paul Nolan from freewinners.net? Paul Nolan comes on AFR on Thursdays. His text line, if you text the word free to 313-GET-INFO, 313-GETINFO. So text the word free to 313-GET-INFO. He'll send you 6 free plays, 3 college plays today, 3 NFL plays tomorrow. And then it's a service. Like if you like it, you can sign up. I think it's maybe like $50 or something like that. And then they'll send you all their picks every day. So anyway. But if you're talking about like Jimmy comes on my show every day. Jimmy Ott comes on my show every day because his show follows mine. So the last segment of every AFR is Otter Locks, where Jimmy gives out his best bet of the day. And sometimes he'll give us picks from other handicappers who maybe do NBA or NHL, whatever. So maybe gives us multiple. But on Fridays, he does his cappers recap. So like throughout the week, when he has all these handicappers come on, give their best bet of the day, he'll give those out on Friday for the Saturday games, and then Sunday on Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday, in the 11 o'clock hour, it's all NFL plays as well. And the NFL plays are 30 games over 500 for the season. It's incredible. They're like 66, 36, and 2 or something like that. It's incredible. Tim Gotro, Troy Abear. We need more filters from Drew. Those are hilarious. Young kickers have been solid. Yeah, man. Damian Ramos has been great. Jeremiah Hartle, do you think Sam Pittman will be fired? No, he just got a contract extension. Emmett Bean, good morning from Gaithersburg, Maryland. Okay. Justin, really hope we clinch the West today, just so I can start talking junk to my buddy at his wedding Saturday. Their dog, Kirby, will be a groomsman wearing a tux. Oh, jeez. Yeah. On Hunt Hill, they were, so when we were all in the same set, same studio. So when Hunt Hill ends, AFR, we go in. So it's sort of a Chinese fire drill, change out the set and everything. But when I walk in, they were walking out, and Hunt Hill were having that convo, and about, what do you cheer for in Ole Miss, Alabama? And Jeremy was cheering for Ole Miss because he wants Alabama to lose. And I was like, no. I mean, I want this done today. I want Atlanta clinched today. Go take care of Arkansas, have it Alabama beat Ole Miss, and have this done. I don't need to be playing Texas. And his whole point was, well, if you can't beat Texas A&M, you don't deserve to go. I'm like, no. Take care of business today. Spurge, I use the Fireboard system, like an infomercial. Set it, forget it. LOL, I need my beauty sleep too. And ideal field conditions after snow and freeze. So for whatever it's worth, I did my hit on Eagle 98.1 game day at 7:45. I immediately followed Gordy Rush, who was also already at the stadium. And he said it was windy there right now, but the field conditions were fine. So I don't think the field conditions are going to be a problem. Air Force One Commander-in-Chief trophy 21 times, most for any academy. They have been the most consistent for the longest time. Peter Fenner, good morning. On my way to Pittsburgh to see the Saints. Oh, God. Troy Aber, any update on KJ Jefferson's status? Not as of this morning, not that I've seen published anywhere. My suspicion is he's going to play. I just don't think he's going to be effective. Game day should be a Tulane. No, it shouldn't. Game day should absolutely be where it is. In Austin for Texas against TCU, it should 100% be where it is. Cody Champion's up there in Fayetteville. Okay. Matt for Whiskey and Wine. Hey, babe. Are you leaving? Oh, if I see any fairies, let you know. Like the nail fairy?
Manny and Petty.
Oh, a Manny and a Petty fairy.
You see him, just like
Wow. A Manny and a Petty fairy. Wow, okay. Matt for Whiskey and Wine, can you bring a
Sorry, I have to go to Alexander Street.
I don't care.
Noon? What time you leave? This takes 2 hours. So,
Probably,
12's okay?
yeah. I think halftime probably be about 12:30.
Okay, yeah, I'll be back at 12. Love you.
Love you too. Bye, babe.
See him, yeah. See him. Should be 2 of them floating around.
When Erica wants something, when she wants me to pay for something, she calls it like the fairy, right? So like, have you seen the coffee fairy anywhere? Like if she wants me to go get a coffee, she'll do that. So now she's like, have you seen the nail fairy? Because she's going to get Manny Petty right now. So she's like, have you seen any nail fairies? Let me know. That's what she's doing.
Addie, okay.
Let's see. Fish Bucket Matt for Whiskey and Wine. Can you bring a poster of Ari Gold with GTFO for the knuckleheads that try to interrupt the show? They're the worst, worse than radio callers. So, Fish Bucket. That's why I got sort of infamously last year. I did yell at one of the guys that's a regular viewer of all the shows, who goes by Bilbo, who I'm sure is a great guy. I've talked to him off air, and he's a nice enough guy, but was doing just that. And finally, like, I had to take the headset off and say, and like exact GTF, like, we're doing a show. And T was like, no, bro, it's cool. I said, no. Like, but here's the thing. Here's the other thing too. We're doing a show at a bar where we're all exposed, right? Everybody's drunk and the camera is facing the backdrop. So we're inviting the scene. I mean, we could turn the camera and us be up against a wall, but the visual is so much better when you can see the bar and everything happening. So in some respects, you are inviting that. It's on us just to make sure we keep the show going. So anyway. But yes, I mostly fish bucket. Like, I'm with you. Like, if you have to have some self-awareness to realize, like, it's not about you. And that's always been my thing with radio callers as well. I don't do a radio show for, like, industry averages are that your estimates are like 2% of your audience would ever call. 2%. Meaning 98% would never call, no matter how bad your dog cussed their mom and them. So I'm not concerned about the 2%. I want to do the show for the 98%. And I don't care about if the 2% get upset. I just don't care. So that's the same with this. Like, I don't care about the feelings of the one person who keeps trying to interrupt the show. I care about like when after it's all said and done, because people watch Whiskey and Wine live, but then the next day, throughout Sunday, the audience builds and builds and builds, because a lot of people don't watch it immediately. I have to go back and watch it on Sunday. So when I look at our numbers at the end of the day, Sunday, and on the podcast, I mean, there are tens of thousands of people that watch that show. It's incredible. Like, I think last week, when you combine YouTube, Facebook, and podcast, I need to go check the final numbers, but we're over 60,000 people, which is incredible. I mean, that's great. And it's just never going to be about the one person who walks behind who wants to interrupt the show. It's just never going to be about that person. So anyway, like, there was a lady last week who I had to kind of tell, "Hey, go sit down." She was overserved. I mean, she was having a good time and all, but it's like, it ain't about you, lady. Love you. Thank you for coming, but go sit down. We'll talk later. If LSU wins big today and TCU loses to Texas and Ohio State or Michigan blows each other out, can LSU be in the top four? Jeremiah, I think LSU can be in the top four. It was interesting. Phil Steele said yesterday that if LSU wins the SEC, they'll be in no matter what, because the SEC champ will get in, which was interesting to me because I don't know that I necessarily agree. But LSU has a path. Your best bet is chaos. Like, you got to win out. Clemson losing last week helped. You want Washington to beat Oregon today. That would help tremendously. You want Texas to beat TCU, for sure. Like, you would like to have a 2-loss Big 12 and 2-loss Pac-12 champion, for sure. Because a 2-loss LSU would obviously get the nod over other 2-loss Power 5 champions. Brian Robert, do we dare cheer for Bama to give LSU room for error? Of course, yes. You 100% cheer for Alabama today. It's not about Bama's feelings. They're a 2-loss team. They're out. I don't care. It's about giving LSU the best chance to get to Atlanta and win the SEC. And you absolutely cheer for Alabama today. 100%. Elite Goods. Mike the Tiger, SC West Champs, best day of the year to eat ribs. Trevi, what up, E-Rock? This cold weather isn't going to do KJ's ailments any favors. I'm sure they're going to give him an injection in his shoulder. They'll shoot him up and try to let him go play. I just don't know that he's going to be effective. I think the stadium is going to be a ghost town. It's 36 degrees, 11 a.m. I disagree with you. For Arkansas people, this is the biggest game on their schedule every year, and they will show up. E-Rock has replaced Lenny with Cliff. Maybe so. We haven't seen Lenny in a while, man. I know they're selling their house. I don't know where they're moving, but Chance Babin, is this Brian Kelly's most athletic team ever, not most talented? I don't know. Probably, and it probably is the most talented. You know what's interesting, Chance? I'm going to give a hat tip to Tony Barnhart. I interviewed him at SEC Media Days, and he said that back in July. He said this will be Brian Kelly's best team. This LSU team will be better than any Notre Dame team Brian Kelly had. More talented than me, and you're probably right. Remember Red Hat Guy. I do remember Red Hat Guy. Von Bluesman, Tigers will be SEC champs today when we win and Bama beats Ole Miss. That's what I'm hoping for. I want to put my head on my pillow tonight with LSU being SEC West champs. Murder Giraffe, I don't think they would leave the SEC champion out. They've never had to deal with it with a two-loss champion. I'll point this out. 2016, Penn State was a two-loss Big Ten champion with a win over Ohio State. Penn State did not make the playoff. One loss Ohio State did. LSU fans pull for Bama to win. If they do, we're West champs. Well, with a win. Kenny Jacques, why does Arkansas get so amped for this game? It's so annoying. Murder Draft, that's not because it's Ohio State. It's because Penn State had a lopsided loss that season, I believe, to Michigan. And LSU's got a lopsided loss to Tennessee. And they had a bad pre-conference loss to Pitt, just like LSU's got a bad pre-conference loss to Florida State. The resumes are actually kind of identical. The one big difference, Murder Giraffe, like the one big difference would be Penn State beat Wisconsin in that Big Ten championship game, and LSU would have to beat Georgia. That would be the one big difference. Why does Arkansas get so amped for this game? So when Arkansas came into the league in 1992, they had no rival. And so the league, after expansion, of course, was trying to make sure they protected Tennessee and Alabama and Florida or Georgia, Auburn, and all that sort of stuff. And so they went to their format of having the divisions and the permanent opponent. And so in an effort to try to give Arkansas something meaningful, they not only paired LSU and Arkansas, but they put it on that Friday after Thanksgiving to make it into sort of like a made-for-TV type deal. They created the boot, the silly trophy, and all that stuff. Well, Arkansas didn't have any affiliation or real rival. LSU and Arkansas had some history and played, throughout the whole Southwest Conference days and some games in the past, but that's why they essentially attached the two at the hip to say, okay, you guys are going to go together. And I think LSU really resented it. Not only that, but trying to artificially make it into a rivalry and playing it at 1:30 on a Friday and all that sort of stuff. And Arkansas really bought into it, and for a lot of years, LSU resented it. And the interesting thing is, and I've explained this to Arkansas fans, that Arkansas loathes the Missouri game because LSU complained for so long about playing that game on Friday after Thanksgiving. And so, but they had the TV window on CBS, so what the SEC did was when Missouri came into the league, they made Missouri and Arkansas permanents, and they play it on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And they created something called the Battle Line Trophy and all this sort of stuff. They basically did to Arkansas when Missouri came in what they did to LSU when Arkansas came in. And so Arkansas fans hate the Battle Line Trophy. They hate the Battle Line Trophy. They hate the Missouri game. They hate they hate it. And I always say to them, you are now where LSU was in 92, except LSU had 50 years of equity in the Southeastern Conference already whenever we got stuck with you. You're still a relative noob. You've only been here since 92. So anyway. I mean, that was 2012, when Missouri came into the league. Ryan and Mandy Guidry. Man, you have some moves. I love it. Yeah, it kind of proved that God has a sense of humor. He made me a bald, fat guy, but he actually gave me rhythm. It doesn't make sense. David Ezernak, would you play up a little? Sorry, would you play a little up tempo in this game because of the cold weather? No. I would play up tempo if you thought that's the best way to move football. Guys, the cold weather is, we are grossly overstating the cold weather. When you're on the field playing, like as soon as you get that first hit and you get the blood flowing, you stop being concerned with the cold weather. It'll suck for the guys just standing there on the sideline for 3 hours, but for the guys playing, it's not going to matter. The greater concern would be if it's a really windy day, which would affect the ability to throw the football. Ben Dupuy, if Devin White and Tyrann Mathieu had a baby, it would be Harold Perkins Jr. No, he's not really anything like Tyrann. He's a lot like Devin White. That's what he is. Lee Allen, Tiger Football, going to put up a hundo. Yeah, I don't think they're going to put up a hundo. Craig Dugas, you need to switch your no booze November to sober October next year. We're going to be in the heat of the gumbo, so to speak, next season around this time. Well, Craig, hopefully I won't have to do this next year because I won't have gained 30 pounds. So what Craig's referring to is I'm doing a no alcohol November. I just got to make some changes, lose some weight because I'm really overweight right now. And if I wait until the end of the season and I go through November and then like holidays as well, my really overweight will be like absurdly overweight. And so I'm just going to like halt that now and start moving in the other direction. Make some changes. Hang on one second. Drew's backpack's beeping. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. All right. Truax, Patrick McKenzie, Matt. I've tried the last 2 weeks to get free picks and they don't send them. Have you texted the line? Like, so they will send me the because I did it too. You have to text that number today and say any picks for today, and they'll send them to you. As always, shout out to Brock, y'all. If you need an orthopedics, go to Brock Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. They are fantastic. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. If you have pain, book a session with Crystal Poche at Restored Motions. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. Man, look, 184 there on YouTube. Please smash that like button. If you're new, please subscribe up to the channel. We appreciate you for being there. Jared Termine, I like Phil Steele. Phil's great. Phil's phenomenal. Few better than him. Patrick McKenzie, the number I send them to and no response, 31343. That's interesting. I mean, it's 313 get info. I think that's it, 438-4636. You never got a single response? Because I did. And I didn't text and say, hey, this is Matt Scone. I just texted the number. Because I wanted to do it as if I were just a listener texting to see what the experience was like. David Woodard, we need short intermediate passes. The wind is a factor. A lot of JD5 running along with Josh Williams this morning. I don't know that the wind's going to be a factor. They've closed in that stadium when they added the end zone edition, and supposedly it's supposed to be nicer today. Like the sun's going to be out and it's supposed to be a pretty pleasant day. I don't know. We'll see, but I don't think the wind's going to be a factor. Got to run. Great morning show like always. Go Tigers. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Lee Allen, you've seen the Sazerac Ferry. Craig Dugas, if you see the Pappy Van Winkle Ferry, let me know. Jeremy Sagely, it's why I rather watch Morning Scone after the game. Okay. Brent Roban, if Jaden Daniels doesn't come back next season, do you see our team possibly being this good again? I would think we're in a time frame where we have more veterans than other SEC teams. So I'll be interested, Brant, of course, to see what happens at the quarterback position if Jaden does not return. I don't think that it's a certainty that Garrett Nussmeier would win the job. I actually would think there's a better opportunity for Walker Howard. I would not, however, rule out the possibility of bringing in a transfer. The transfer portal allows you to go into a season always having somebody with some experience at the college level. So I'm not saying you bring in a transfer who is going to be undeniably the starter, but you can bring in somebody who has experience. I mean, just look around college football. I mean, Jaden Daniels at LSU, Bo Nix at Oregon, Michael Penix at Washington is leading the country in passing. He's a transfer from Indiana, That's what it is, man. Caleb Williams at USC. Jason Souls beat Arkansas, say roll tide, gross, and go to sleep Western Division champ. Yep. Craig Duga. And yes, that was spelled correctly. Ferry, F-E-R-R-Y, ferry full of pappies. Yes. Daniel McCall, good morning from Arkansas. Okay. Jared DeLucky, good morning. Tigers need to put Arkansas away early. Can't let them hang around because crazy stuff happens. I don't think that's going to happen, Jerry. LSU hasn't put anybody away early. It's just not the MO of this team. I think Arkansas will lead this game early, and LSU will do the thing that it always does, which is just play good, consistent ball and get stronger as the game goes along and win it in the second half. Don Jolibois, good morning. Jeremy Sagely, it's crazy. We're even talking about LSU in the SEC Championship. I know I didn't see this coming when the season kicked off. Yep, nobody did. Nobody had LSU winning the West. I could literally go back to SEC Media Days. Okay, here we go. SEC Media Days predicting the order of finish. Here was the projected order of finish in the West. Alabama, 177 votes. A&M, second with 3 first-place votes. Forgive me, the 177 is first-place votes. So Alabama was picked to finish first in the West with 177 votes. A&M was picked to finish second with 3 votes. Arkansas was picked to finish third with 1 first-place vote. Then Ole Miss, LSU was picked 5th. Mississippi State and Auburn 7th. Kind of nailed Auburn. Bama was picked to win the SEC with 158 votes. How about that? How about that? Georgia, how about this? Georgia was picked, look at this. Georgia was picked to win the East with 172 first-place votes. Kentucky was second with 4 first-place votes. Tennessee was third with 1 first-place vote. South Carolina actually got 3 first-place votes, and Vanderbilt got 1 because someone always goes there and makes a mockery of it and picks Vanderbilt to win. Aaron Hornsby, what's going on? Elliot Doge, how bad do you think those hits are going to hurt in this cold? I don't think it will. It's not that, guys, it's not that cold. It's going to be 40 degrees at kickoff. It's just not that cold. Once you get the blood flowing, it's really not that cold. Ron Ritchie, stuck on a long layover at Chicago O'Hare. Headed to Pittsburgh for the Saints game. Get to watch LSU Tigers at 11. Okay, Ron. I mean, I guess it's cool you're going to Pittsburgh, but that game's not going to go well. I will bet on the Steelers tomorrow. Craig Duga, all right, back to work for me. You ready for noon pour? Good day. Go Tigers. Boot up. It's time. It's time. Dust in the diamond time. And all that jazz. Got it. Wayne Blanchard, more to Matt. I really think Brian Kelly and LSU has zoomed in on this game and will win. Do you think Brian Kelly has a chance to win Coach of the Year? National Coach of the Year, no. SEC Coach of the Year, I think it's between he and Heupel, Josh Heupel. And if Tennessee goes 11-1, Josh Heupel should win it. All right. Harold Perkins, number 1 pick in 2025. That's not going to happen just because a linebacker is never going to go number 1 overall. Could he go as high as Devin White? Possibly. Will he be a first-round pick? Certainly, provided he stays healthy, but he won't be the number 1 pick. Only players that are going to go number 1 are quarterbacks, left tackles, or defensive ends. That's it. If you're the quarterback, the guy that protects the quarterback, or the guy that rushes the quarterback is basically it. Alexander Vaughn, pineapple and rum thoughts? Sure. You do you. I would say drink what you like. Is there a game that would be comparable to Notre Dame's exam game? Or is this just another advantage LSU has? I don't know. What do you mean Notre Dame's exam game? I don't know what you mean. Saints should draft Jaden Daniels. Saints better draft a quarterback. Look what Bo Nix is doing this year. All he had to do was get out of the SEC, right? Play Pac-12 defenses, and he looks like a Heisman winner. You think Walker Howard plays next week? I don't. Trivia. I think if they get a big lead, I think they'll play. They'll play Nussmeier. Just based on what we've seen already when they played New Mexico and Southern. Brian Robert with a win today. I'll cash that over 7.5 wins. Give me $1,000. Oh, it's true. I run that had LSU season total. It is interesting because I keep seeing a lot of people say, "Man, everybody had LSU at 5 wins." Like, no, the Vegas total was 7.5. It was either they thought they would be 7-5 or 8-4. I picked them 8-4 this year. So, like, you may have had some knuckleheads who picked LSU to win 5 games, but like the betting odds on this team, the total was 7.5. Remember LSU fans pulling for Bama. It's like getting a root canal. It hurts, but necessary will be over soon. Perk getting goal line snaps at running back, Heisman 25. That will not happen. You'll be disappointed if you aren't entertained enough, no matter what entertainment it is. Correct. I don't know what you mean there. And Mike the Tiger, SC West champs. If Jaden Daniels comes back, he will win the Heisman. It's hard to say definitively that he would win it, but he would certainly be on the preseason odds contenders list, top 5 odds if he came back for sure. He's got a chance to be in New York this year. As odd as that sounds, Jaden Daniels has a real legitimate chance to be in New York this year. If he, talked about it earlier this week, he's got a shot to throw for 3,000 yards and run for 1,000 yards. If he does that, and provided LSU wins out, and they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, he should be in New York. He's got a chance to be in, I don't think he'll win it, but he's got a chance to be in New York this year. Did Perk have cramps last week? Yes. All right, y'all, I think we're just about done. Brant, do we still have the home and home with Clemson coming up? No. With Clemson coming into... yes. No, I'm sorry. Yes. The home and home with Oklahoma was canceled because of Oklahoma coming into the league. The home and home with Texas, with Clemson, is still on the books. Yes. Stewart, are we sure the line for LSU wasn't 6.5 on the over? That's what I had it locked in at. Good for you if you got it 6.5. But the season total closed at 7.5 was LSU's line. That's why it pays to shop sometimes. All right. Notre Dame having a game on exam week. I don't know. I don't remember all that. Okay. I think we're done. Appreciate y'all for being here as always. Peace. Shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic in North Peters. Go to Brock. After Hours Clinic is open nights and weekends, so check out Brock. Bypass the ER. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hudco's pinned in the chat. Would love if you would click that link. Take a quick second, click the link, fill out the form, give us the opportunity to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. And Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Okay, y'all, whiskey and wine. As soon as the clock hits 0, we're at Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll see you then. Oh, we're 20 seconds away from an hour, so let me just filibuster for 20 more seconds. It'll be me and T from Don Juan as soon as the game ends. Come join us or watch on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. All right. Have a great day. Peace.